Hey folks, Milspec Opswing here. Now, normally I'm going to talk with you about satellite phones and having one of these in your quiver, but today we're going to change it up because I have run across something that is a real game changer, and that is the Bivvy Stick. Now, this little jewel right here allows you to have two-way comms through instant messaging via an encrypted satellite. All you have to do is have the app loaded onto your phone, and whoever you're communicating with, them have that on their phone, and they don't even have to have one of these. And you guys can communicate two-way through this device. Now, what's really cool is that it is very simple in nature. It is shock resistant to a mil standard. It is also submersible down to about a meter for 30 minutes without being compromised in terms of water. And then also it's good from about 120 degree Fahrenheit weather all the way down to -50. So very robust. The other thing, too, is it's got this hole built into it, so you can clip it on and hang it off your backpack. You can slip it in your purse, put it in your pocket. It weighs about half the weight of a regular cell phone. But this Bivvy Stick is amazing. There are no activation fees, and included in that service of unlimited text messaging worldwide is a new feature that's SOS. It's handed through Global Rescue, and so little red button on the bottom, and let's say you're out in a situation, whether it's on grid or off grid, you decide I need some help. You push that little red button and the rescue ninjas are coming to you. Okay, so very nice to have. Like I said, it can be used off grid and on grid. You can actually download maps and use them off grid onto your app. It also gives you live weather, which is a really nice thing to have, especially if you're in a bug out situation where you need to know what's coming your way weather-wise, okay? And so, again, this you can use either on-grid or off-grid, but you can check in on your location. You can actually set, and this is the coolest feature, I know my team will be using this from a standpoint of if we had to bug out, we have a location that we go to, and say that location becomes compromised. Well, on the app, you can actually select a new waypoint and change on the fly that meetup location, all right? And so now you've got a different rendezvous point. All you do is basically punch in the new coordinates. It'll send it to your buddies. And when it connects to the satellite, it's a short burst round of information. So it doesn't hang on to the satellite and track and track and track. It only goes as soon as you hit the button, boom, to the satellite, and then off grid again it goes. All right. So very cool feature. Again, if you're interested in this, you can get it through the satellite phone store. Just go to sat123.com/monkeywerx or call the number below in the description and tell them that Monkey sent. That's it. God bless. Out. All right, welcome, folks. Milspec Opswing here. This is going to be our SITREP. It is 3/18/20. Man, this year is just zinging by. But it's about 11 a.m. Central Time here, coming to you from the great state of Texas. Now let's hop over here to Skywatch or Skyglass, Skywatch, and just take a look at what we've got going on. And sitting at about, we've got a total of about 444 aircraft loaded, and that's worldwide, mil only for the most part, and then 315 are actually showing. Now the ones that are really kind of popping in on the numbers right now, actually more so than the trainers. Normally we get a sea of trainers. There's like 90 of those things filling up the board. You notice no trainer activity down here in the Panhandle. There are, you can see these little Tex 2s running up through the central U.S., south side of Texas, all the way up to Oklahoma. But what's really out there, and we'll just hit these, this is going to be the NAs. These are aircraft that do not wish to be tracked. And you can see they're quite active this morning, especially on the East Coast. That could be anything from military assets to something else, commercial, doing military stuff, but kind of give you a little bit of the flavor. You can see nothing really to speak of here in the center of the U.S., but boy, East Coast is hotter than Junkie Spoon, man. Pretty crazy. So, all right, now let's take a look at some of the other aspects around the world while we're in Skyglass. First off, we're going to go take a look at the EU. We're looking at the spycraft that are currently up. Now, on this, I just want to point out, notice these are our normal, this is from our watch list. These are our normal offenders, so to speak. We got a B703 that's in the region, kind of running along that Ukraine-Poland border, headed northbound and then down kind of in the area. And then, of course, we've got this little Brio 68, which is going to be our, that's actually going to be one of those little Gulfstream birds that's uh, running some routes. You notice the layers, how they're hitting it. They go to different altitudes and run the same route. That's probably because they're doing different types of searching. Notice the little G4 up there too. That's that Sweden bird doing the same thing up over the Baltic Sea. But that is kind of our normal scenario here on a daily basis as they gather intelligence in the region. Now, the other piece too, these are going to be our heavies. So these are all of our movers. Just notice it looks like a spaghetti chart on here right now, but they are actually still pushing a lot of assets in the region and moving things around. It looks like, if I had to guess, NATO's getting ready to go to war, just based on the movements and where they're prepositioning things. Okay. Now, if we get over here to the United States and look at our U.S. watch list, you're going to just see there are 11 spy balloons up right now, intelligence balloons. You can see them at the very top of our screen. In the bottom left-hand corner, there are about 4 down there off of Baja, California, Southern California region. And then if we look at the U.S. heavies, this is actually just going to be a really light day. Normally, Friday is our heavier day for transports to move. And really not a lot. I mean, we can see them just starting to get off the ground there. The tracks aren't real long, but that looks like they are just getting started. And then we get over here to the tanker aspect of it, and you're going to notice some of the circle routes. We got a tanker doing some air refueling over Florida. Looks like we've got something over southern Georgia, and then up in the Northeast. And then it looks like we've got a bunch that are just taking off out of the center of the United States, headed westbound. All right, so that is that's going to be our heavies. Now let's look at the sub hunters. This is where we're getting kind of interesting. These are going to be your Navy P8s and your Navy P3s. Look like they're doing some searching off of the coast or communicating off the coast of Cape Canaveral area, Central Florida, East Coast. And then also looks like they're doing some land-based stuff too. But that's quite a few. That's 5 or 6 P8s, and then a bunch of P3s, which I think total is 8 between them all. So pretty busy day so far. Again, these are going to be your NAs we're looking at on the screen, and it's just the beauty of Skyglass, because not only can you look at the aircraft, but you can look at all of the aircraft, and you can look at that little track line, and you can tell where these guys are heading. And so it does kind of give you that extra data point for watching. Notice the NAs out here in California. This is the area right here where we had the spycraft up. Okay, but these are little short hops. You can see they're just kind of up and downs, moving here in the California area, and then got a couple look like they're bugging out, headed east. All right. Okay, man, we got a chock full of stuff to talk about today. We'll look back at this potentially at the end, but I think we've covered almost all of it in Skyglass. So over here, flight radar, just take a quick gander at the volcanic activity going on. The other day, we were up to 9, which is a record. And then today, we're down to looks like about 5 here in Central and South America, and 1 out here. So we got 6 going. Remember, Japan just got whacked with a pretty heavy earthquake right there next to Fukushima again, which is not good. But again, these are ash alerts. That's the reason why we're looking at these, right? These are telling pilots, hey, don't fly in that area. Important data to know, but also because this right here these are the real climate changers. Forget your SUV. This bad dude blows at a pretty large portion, and you can have very big impacts on local and worldwide climate, right? And that has to do with food, crops, droughts. It's a pretty big cycler. Okay. All right, let's get over here to Flashbang. You can see he got on the phone with Z this morning, probably just checking to make sure the money went in the account. But this is that was the 9 a.m. and then the rest of the day he's just basically focused on this. He's punching out, headed to the beach because the world's not in a crisis, and he's not a crisis leader, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So they're going to send him off, play a little Candy Crush out on the beach, work on his tan, get a little bit of that vitamin D going, and, the world just digresses. So speaking of that, let's just take a quick look at the TFRs, kind of show you what's going on the map here. Looks like this is where he's headed, right? Going to be headed out here in this general area. That is going to be your Brown Zone Senior Living Center, aka the Village, full of idiots. And then these other TFRs, this is Space Operations. That's going to be Disney. This is an air show. This is an air show. I want to say that is an air show. This is an air show. We are in the cycle of air show. These little blue boxes and yellow boxes are because this dude here just rolled through. The winds are insane. I will tell you, it's blowing 35, 40 miles an hour here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I know out here is a big old fire watch right now. So, yeah, crazy winds coming through. But these are power outages, and that's why. It's because of the wind. All right, and then this one, I'm pretty sure that is going to also be a air show. Nope, Space Operations. All right, that one snuck in on me. Okay, there are the TFRs. Let me just double check. I'm going to go to this one. So we got a Space Ops down there in Utah and a Space Ops up here. So don't know if they are related, but data point. All right, let's get away from Flashbang schedule. Let's get over here. This is actually the MagaPack site. Actually, I have some pretty good news on here. I know it's kind of driven. It's Republican-centric news and data, so it is definitely a little bit left-leaning, or sorry, right-leaning, not left-leaning. Kind of polar opposite of what our normal media is. It's good to get a good balance in here, though. But I do like some of the stories that they put out, and their details. They typically go to our normal sources like Epic Times or Newsmax and things like that to pull their stories. So we talked about this, the Z Biden call this morning. I'm sure that went really well. And wanted to point out too, we got Russian, actually Russia is blocking hundreds of ships from leaving the Black Sea region. So we're going to look at that a little closer on our map and to talk about it. This is the one data point I wanted to point out, was that Republican senators has introduced a ban on imports of Russian uranium. Why does that ring a bell? Well, because you remember the U-1 scandal. Well, that is right at the heart of it all. You got Ukraine there, just right of center. Of course, top center, you see where all the money was being funneled through. But that right there is about to get things heated up for that individual who introduced that bill. I can guarantee it, because these are all the people that he is just basically punched in the wallet if that goes through. Okay, so it's a great data point. Looks like a little bit of a win if it goes through, because it's going to hold some people accountable, maybe. Maybe not accountable, but at least stop their cash flow. All right, so pretty good. I did see also that Russia has actually sanctioned Biden's bank accounts out of Russia, which is, I think equates to about $3.5 million. So he just kind of countered the punch in the wallet there for old Flashbang. Okay. All right. Get over here real fast to see how, speaking of Flashbang and how he's doing while he's sipping Mai Tais on the beach, playing a little Candy Crush. Looks like this is going to be our winner for today. Kansas is at $3.79 a gallon. Now, that is the lower 87 octane. You get into the 93 octane stuff, and you're around the $5 a bucket range. But just showing you the trend, these red arrows mean that the price is going up. All right, it's trending up. And so you can see as we get in, some of them are kind of level set. They already had their price increase. They haven't moved again. But this is for today. This is live, real data. All right. And so you can see this one in Maryland is at $4.19 for 87. Headed upward. It just did a 12-cent bounce. 16-cent bounce here in New Jersey. And looks like San Juan's taking a pretty big hit. But these are kind of the gas prices. California is sitting at $5.84. That's a lower octane. So they're probably pushing $6 a gallon, if not more, for the 93 stuff. All right. That's okay. They're all driving Teslas out there, right? So, but okay. Now, this is the other piece, too. This is a data point, but is a downstream impact. And I want to point this out because it is definitely going to impact us in the future. Okay. So this is actually a capital management, I guess a manager, right, firm, and that he's talking about $200 oil by the year end as Biden sends. Now, this SPR, that's basically our strategic oil reserves to record lows. So if you get down here and look at the chart, this is really the takeaway. As the barrel prices are expected to climb upwards of $200 a barrel, we are looking at our reserves, which means we don't have the ability other than producing more to counteract that, which means we are in a danger zone. When you get down here to record low reserves, that means something happens and the flow stops, then we don't have the ability to kind of pump that into the supply chain to keep it primed, right? Keep in mind too that U.S. produces, we're the #1 producer of oil in the world, so we ought to be able to get that back up. That is poor management, is what that is, or lack of knowledge of how to manage. So, all right, now here's the other thing too that's going to punch all of us in the wallet. This is actually a smoke from a massive Walmart fire, 1.2 million square foot facility. You guys can see on fire. It looks like that bad dude is toast. You're getting ready to see a lot of shelves at Walmart go empty. Not to put a panic out there, but that right there is your distribution center. That means their replenishment ability, other than stock on the shelf and what's in the warehouse, has just been compromised, and that's a bad situation. Now, I'm sure they've got some type of damage control, just in case button, right, that they hit, and they probably have other warehouses they can spool up quickly to reallocate stuff, but that's their main hub. That is not a good thing, okay? All right, over here to Forward Observer, I just want to show you, it's, what is that, straight out of the Bible, a quart of wheat for a denarius. This is crazy, but look at what wheat prices are doing right now, going through the roof. You can't make this stuff up, but it's also, as the prices go through the roof, the ability or the availability of product is on the decline, which is really not good, right? So that means it's not going to go down anytime soon. In fact, it's going to become more of a precious or rare commodity. So it's going to be like gold here pretty soon. And then here's the other thing too. I just want to point out, this was, I thought, a kind of interesting data point. Russia drone shot down after flying into Nato airspace. Evidently, this thing was doing some aerial recon over Ukraine, and he accidentally bubbled out into Poland, and we took it out of the sky. Now, the reason I point that out is because one of the things I've been saying for several weeks now is that if there was an opportunity for this thing to go hot very quickly, it's going to be in a situation like this. Now, a drone, it's not manned, not a huge deal, but had that been a fighter pilot flying a MiG, coming out, a Soviet fighter pilot bubbling out over Poland, and they shot him down, NATO and Russia would be at war. Okay, and so that's one of the things you have to, keep in mind. All right, it's that little thing like that could spark this whole thing. It's just a powder keg waiting to happen. Another thing too, I just want to point out up here. Notice old Tulsi. Remember, she is a graduate of the World Economic Forum School of Young Global Leaders, making the headlines. Right. All right. Now this is Israeli national news again. Notice the deep fake kind of pumping into the scenario here. We've talked about that. I think the big tragedy here really is that Burger King says it's unable to close restaurants in Russia. That's probably the real takeaway from this one. Not good. Not good at all. Okay. All right, let's go over to the Black Sea. Now, notice the bottleneck. We're talking about ships. The red are going to be tankers. Green's going to be cargo. Notice the bottleneck. This is Turkey down here on this end. All right. This is the port they're trying to pass through. Don't know if this is probably where they are holding them, keeping them from getting in and out here, because this is Russia controlled. This is Crimea. But if it's in this general area and they're stopping boats, that is a really interesting game changer, because that's going to impact a lot of people in the area. All right. All right. And we'll continue to watch that. This is the region where it's kind of going hot. Now, remember, Russia, if you go over here and look at how they are pushing folks out, let's get over to the refugee numbers. They're coming in basically from the right, pushing to the left, right? And you can see them actually, people bailing out. But these are the numbers. I think they're estimating now about 3.1 million refugees exiting Ukraine. And these are the regions they're going into. It looks like Poland is taking the lion's share, almost 2 million. Notice there's some that kind of just bounce across the border up here in Russia too, 168,000. So just keep your eye on that number. Remember, there's 43 million people in Ukraine. 71% of that population is Christian. Okay. All right, now let's get back over here to, this is going to be our cyber threat real-time map. Just going to show you kind of where we are. These are detections per second. You can see this thing is a real live monitor. It goes by color based on the threat that's actually being detected. We'll look at the real map. Most infected today, I just want to show you the top 4 really, or 5. Russia's numero uno. United States is number 2. We got Brazil down here, which is an interesting dynamic that they are still having so much of an issue. Germany, I can see because they're part of NATO, and China, that's just kind of normal stuff. So, but yeah, these are going to be your top 5 in terms of getting whacked today from that standpoint. Now we get over to the map. You can kind of see what that same data looks like, and I'm going to go flat map on you just because it is a kind of easier on the eyes. But these giant spikes, I'm really, again, I've got to meet with my cyber threat expert. I don't have a firm grasp on this. I can just show you they look to be outbound, not inbound for the most part, especially here in the U.S. So it looks like we are on the offensive from a cyber perspective. Don't know why it's not pulling any of the other things. Normally we see the pinks and everything else moving. I know it's out there. It's just not showing it, okay? All right, let's get over here to Biggs Army Airfield, where we're going to start looking at troop movement again, or Poppy movement. Okay, just want to show you. We've got this one that came in from. This is an Atlas Airbird coming in from Houston. That's a 767-300. That'll hold a lot of folks. Now, don't know if it's troops or not. Probably is more than likely bringing in some folks, and we'll probably see them exfil. Yeah, there it is, right there, up to Indianapolis. Now, could that be troops? Could that be poppies? I don't know. I think the system is being replenished again. Seeing another wave. I've heard rumor that Omaha just got a whole fresh batch of poppies. And so we do know that they are continuing to move them around. This is the only departure I see today on the board from Biggs Army Airfield. That is going to be a national cargo bird. It's an Airbus 330-200, A330-200. Headed to Kentucky. So Fort Campbell up in Kentucky. All right. Okay. Now let's get over here to the Omni flights. Just show you what's going on. Again, notice we got an Omni that's coming out of Guam. One coming out of Guam, coming to Fort Worth Alliance. Definitely going to be troops coming out of that location, or at least empty coming back. Then we've got this one coming out of Seattle, headed back. Where's that? Here, Ontario. Okay, and these 2 are probably troop related. This one down here I'm not so sure of, because that's coming out of looks to be Dominican Republic or Haiti, Port-au-Prince. So coming out of Port-au-Prince to Orlando. I really doubt that's troops, honestly. That's probably going to be immigration relief. Okay, all right. Now, this is going to be Camber, U.S. Transportation Command. Notice we only show 1 bird actually on the board down here, 2 birds in flight. So looks like that one just took off 29,700 feet, headed eastbound. And then this one here looks to be, it looks like it came out of up here in Black Sea. So just in Greece, right on the Turkish border, it looks to be. Headed down south, headed into the Middle East. Okay. Now, here's one of the things I just want to point out. We did have this flight come into our country recently. These are actually going to be the Special Flight Squadron. I can track these. I'm going to pull that data in. I did see some data points that were out there about a bunch of their diplomats or upper echelon all run into the bunkers. I don't know that that is ever confirmed. We do have a bunch. Well, we did have a bunch of flights. I did see those. They were tracked. Going to look a little closer to that here in the next couple minutes, just to show you what we are kind of dealing with. But this is basically bringing home Russian diplomats that the U.S. has basically said they've declared them persona non grata. Right, no longer welcome. Get out of our country. And so this plane flew in, picked up some diplomats, and flew them back out of the country. All right. Now, these are the special flights, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in just a second. But this is the one where the other day somebody had on their program all these flights that were leaving Moscow, headed to the mountains, so to speak, and they were speculating that they were headed to bunkers. I think that was speculation. I don't know there's any way to really confirm that these guys were bugging out, but these are the same flights, right? These are the same aircraft. It's their Airborne Special Flight Detachment, or State Aero, what they call it. And you can track them. They are just like our Camber flights. They're commercial aircraft that are being purposed for their defense ministry stuff, okay? Doesn't show where they're headed, as always, just like ours don't, right? But you can see where they're taking off from. And sometimes you mouse over, you can kind of get a little bit of the trail, but there is the latest, all right? So you can see they're still kind of in the Moscow general area. I don't think there's anybody bugging out. I think that was just speculation. And so got to kind of be careful with that, I guess. That's the thing I'm saying. I think it's great we can actually track these, and we will track them going forward. It's just the movement. But again, unless you really, really know and you got somebody telling you, hey, they're all bugging out, and then you see the flights, I think, you know, when you start throwing the speculation now, you're really just kind of chasing down a rabbit hole that you really don't know where it's going to go because you don't know where it really originated, right? So, all right. So this is just kind of a look at their squadron, their fleet. They've got 59 aircraft in the fleet, and again, it would be just like looking at our Airbus, our Boeing aircraft, our little Learjets, or our Gulfstreams, okay? It's the same kind of makeup. You can see they're pretty heavy right here in this T204 type aircraft, and here are all the tail numbers. So if you really wanted to track where they're going, they're all right there. Would not be too hard to really track them. But this is usually going to be just like our blue and whites. It'll be their leadership, chief of staff, senators, I guess if you called them that. I don't know what they call them over there. But it's their upper echelon, all right? Okay. Now let's get over to UK Royal Air Force. I just want to show you their movements. Quite a few. This is a pretty busy board. It is Friday. You're going to notice a lot of stuff coming out of Central America down in Belize. Evidently, the UK has quite the presence down here. Now, remember, this could be a strategic move, just like the U.S. is doing down in this region, too, because China and Russia have set up shop right here in Guantanamo Bay, but Cuba. Guantanamo Bay is down here on the other side of the island, basically. And that's part of their China's Silk Road project, and then Russia is strategically putting stuff in there, just like they did Bay of Pigs, Cuban Missile Crisis type of scenario. And then these are the other movers. You can see this one looks to be headed home. A couple moving down here in Italy, which looks to be where NATO is actually starting to position assets. So it looks like NATO, just from looking at all of the flights, it looks to me like we've got the perfect storm brewing, right? We've got energy crisis, we've got economic issues going on, we've got supply, food demand that's about to be in the tank, and then we've got a war that's brewing that it's a powder keg just waiting to happen. And so that stage is set, and it does look like NATO is now starting to get themselves positioned in here, not just in Poland and down here in the general area north of Turkey, but they are moving assets as we looked at the heavies all the way up. I mean, they're up here in Norway and all the way down here into Italy, into Greece, Cyprus, those general areas. So definitely, just from an observation standpoint, if I look at where the planes are going, it looks like NATO is pre-positioning itself for this thing to really go south. Okay. Now, speaking of going south, this is the $1,000,000 question. This is going to be our Swift Air flying their flights. Look at the amount of flights. It is Happy Friday. These ones here, Valley down to El Dorado. Note this one here, Laredo. That's Texas border town, headed to Port-au-Prince. We just saw an Omni flight going in there. If they're deporting people, they're doing it very quietly because we're not hearing any reports about surges at the border, although this would indicate there is quite a bit of activity still coming across the border. We're just not hearing about it from the media, okay? All right. We're getting to the bottom of our hour. We're going to touch base here on Guantanamo Bay, just looking at what's on the board today. Uber for Legal Eagles coming in from Jacksonville. That's going to be a normal flight. This one here is the new small bird, that little C560. That's going to be a Cessna Citation flying in and out twice a week. That's Tuesday, Friday. That's the tempo for this one. It's just filling the void for the ones that have been popping in and out. And then this is a Amerijet coming out of Norfolk. That's a cargo bird. And then, of course, there they are bouncing back out. I don't see anything else on the board that catches my eye. That we've got an out of tempo. And even looking through here, this is the only one that looked to be an out of sequence potentially. But that was a Tuesday flight. That could have been replaced now by this other bird here. That is 626. This seems to be 773 RB, which is gay logistics out of the. So that's going to be Guantanamo Bay. And then let's just take a quick look. It looks like the Secretary of Homeland Security is actually rolling out of Morristown into Trenton, New Jersey. Remember, too, that Flashbang is actually setting up shop somewhere in here this weekend. All right, so that could be why they're there in advance. Who knows? But that was 44 minutes ago. Get over here to NASA and see what they're up to. Looks like they're running some routes up here in the Northeast. You do have one in the general region where Flashbang is headed. You know, kind of in that same way. Looks like he's on the ground about to take off. That's a little twin otter surveillance bird, I think. We got two of them out here. This is kind of the normal chase. Why you did that to me? That we see. Don't know what's going on out here in the water, but these two birds have been doing quite a bit of stuff. They seem to fly one right behind the other. And so it doesn't like me looking at them for some reason, but let me click on one. Yeah, flies out, does a little loop, comes back. So don't know. Same thing. This one here, just keeping chase. All right. So there is that coming out of Norfolk, Virginia. And then this little G4 taking off, headed out like northwest bound, and this one down over Tampa. So, all right, last look. I just want to show you, we've been hearing a lot about Elon Musk setting up his satellites over the Ukraine, and so this is basically the map of those satellites over Ukraine. Now, keep in mind, this is a region we're looking at right here as you kind of drill in. Black Sea, and these little dots right here are going to be the satellites that are comm links, giving folks in Ukraine the ability to still communicate. Okay, just wanted to show that as a data point, right? Okay, all right. So listen, we're at the bottom of our hour. That's going to do it for our SITREP today. Like I said, it looks like NATO is actually setting up for what is to come. And pay attention, these oil and gas things going on, the wheat, it's going to be biblical. I'm telling you, the perfect storm is brewing, because this is not just going to be U.S. affected. This is going to be globally affected. We're about to be into some heavy-duty food shortages and some serious inflation on oil and gas. So wish I had better news, but hey, listen, just stay frosty, keep that powder dry, and may God bless you and keep you and shine his face upon you. Crazy times. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.